Screw you, Taylor Swift. That's how I would like to begin.
Whoa, shots fired. So, Megyn Kelly was a guest on Tucker Carlson's show, and she really ripped into Taylor Swift, and more specifically, Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Now, of course, I have nothing against Taylor Swift in general, but Megyn Kelly makes some really great points here as she talks to Tucker Carlson. So let's have a listen.
This woman has got she's a billionaire. I saw her amazing mansion in Rhode Island. I went to some hotel there, and there it is up on a cliff. You've never seen a more beautiful home. It's one of, 20? She's got so many gifts thanks to all of you. Thanks to your daughters, who you probably had to drag to her concerts, and you want to make your daughter happy, and so you did it, and it's true whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. And how does she thank this nation? She turns around. Not only does she pick a side in a hotly contested presidential election, alienating at least half of her fan base, but she says the reason she's voting for Kamala Harris is because of Tim Walz's LGBTQ stance. Do you know what Tim Walz has done on the LGBTQ front? Let me tell you what's gonna happen, okay? Here's what's gonna happen. A little girl sitting in Wisconsin who's maybe on the spectrum, maybe has acne, maybe is a little heavy set, maybe feels upset because her parents are getting divorced, something like that, is going to find herself down a rabbit hole on Reddit. And her parents aren't gonna know because they're getting a divorce and they're not focused on her right now. And she's gonna spend hour after hour on that thing, and Reddit's gonna tell her she's actually a boy. And she's gonna get sucked into this gender cult, and she's gonna say, Mom and Dad, I want puberty blockers into cross-sex hormones, which will sterilize her and deprive her of all sexual pleasure for the rest of her life. And they're gonna say, no, you're a girl. And she's gonna say, but I want top surgery, this benign thing, this double mastectomy where I'll have tubes coming out of me and I'll never breastfeed a child. I want that too, because I'm a boy. And they're gonna say no.
Well, to be fair now, I don't think Taylor Swift has alienated half of her fan base, since I assume most of them are either not of voting age or would vote Democrat anyway. But let's get back to the real meat here. Megyn Kelly is spot on about Tim Walz's LGBTQ BS. And she also makes a great point about what a degenerate and dangerous cesspool Reddit is. Now, since I feel duty-bound to keep abreast of the cultural and social madness that's currently digging its claws into America and the West, I make it a point. Every day, I hold my nose and I visit Reddit on a daily basis just to see what the crazies are up to. And believe me, the kind of stuff you find there is absolutely vile. Ugh. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and not only do I not let her have any social media, which I think is, frankly, pretty toxic to everyone, but especially to kids, but I also don't let her go on YouTube, and I certainly don't let her go on sites like Reddit. For the very reason that Megyn Kelly just mentioned. I even told my daughter, I said, perhaps you don't mind now that I'm banning you from these things, but sooner or later you're going to hate me for it, but I really don't care. My job as a father is to protect you from this madness, is to keep you safe. You have all the time in the world to grow up and become an adult. You simply don't need that stuff now. Anyway, Megyn Kelly is absolutely right about all this, but let's keep listening because she's about to tie Reddit back to Tim Walz.
And she's gonna go to a judge in Minnesota, and because of Tim Walz, the court will take custody of her, use the Medicaid funds in Minnesota to provide her all of those things, chop off her breasts, sterilize her with the puberty blockers into the cross-sex hormones, and when this girl inevitably comes to the conclusion that she didn't want any of this, that it only added to her problems, which were the divorce and the acne and the puberty, and not any trans issue, who is she gonna go to then? This is all because of Tim Walz. That's what Minnesota is doing right now to little girls and boys, taking custody away from the parents so that they can have these procedures without any loving parent there to help. And that's what Taylor Swift just endorsed for your children. So screw you, Taylor Swift.
Jesus, this is absolutely just revolting. Can you imagine the courts taking your child away from you because you won't let her ruin her life by taking puberty blockers and getting mutilated? Ugh, how far has our culture fallen that we've reached such an evil, such a satanic low point? Let me know in the comments what you think about this madness, because I just find it horrifying. Let's keep listening.
That is, first of all, thank you for saying that. And pardon my ignorance. This is one of those topics that's so upsetting to me. I have too many children, I think. They can take custody?
Yeah. There's a law that Tim Walz signed that says the court can take jurisdiction, which in this instance means custody, over minor children who are not getting the gender-affirming care, which is a lie. There's only two sexes. Gender's bullshit. There's men and there's women. One cannot become the other. And he signed a law saying that they can take jurisdiction over minor children who are not being affirmed by their children and get all of those procedures done outside of any connection. Your parents will have nothing to do with it. They won't have access to you.
That's so dark.
Yeah.
I have to say, you were describing how rich Taylor Swift is. Why isn't she happy?
Good question. I mean, listen, what is she, like 32? I don't know what she is. She's young. She's never had a relationship that works. She makes a lot of money off of writing about it. That could be part of the problem. Like, for the reasons you were just discussing. When you find true love, when you have somebody who loves you unconditionally, warts and all, that's everything. And she hasn't been able to find it. She's made a lot of money off of it. And I think she travels from city to city without the grounding that you have, that I have, that hopefully all of you have. And maybe she's feeling untethered. Maybe she's feeling empty and lost. And maybe she wants other people to make similar decisions in life as she has.
Well, it's a good question. Why isn't Taylor Swift happy? Yeah, honestly, after hearing this, I'm going to start taking a closer look at the music my daughter is listening to and the artists she follows, because this stuff is just pumped into everybody, but especially into our children's heads day in and day out. And it's all part of the evil programming that we're all being subjected to. But for children, they're still malleable. Their minds are still forming. We've seen the just in the last few years the rising tide of this LGBTQ nonsense, the trans ideology. It has literally just taken root. It's a mind virus, and I think part of it is through popular entertainment, including music. So anyway, let me know what you think about all this. Do you have any thoughts on huge celebrities like Taylor Swift endorsing presidential candidates? Let me know in the comments. Or also if you think Megyn Kelly is going too far in attacking her this way, or maybe not far enough. So that's it for today. As usual, like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. It really helps the channel grow, and it helps me continue making more content.